Welcome to pattern making class. I'm your college instructor, Annette Julie, and today we're working on making a facing for our front basic skirt. This skirt is pegged. It goes in a little bit here at the bottom, but this is at our natural waist. And what we're going to need to do is we need to trim the seam allowance down. This has a half inch right now, and we need to make this 1/4 if we're going to make a facing. We don't need extra bulk when we have a facing. We added 1/2 inch seam allowance for a waistband, but for facing or lining, we need 1/4 in the waist. So we're taking that down. This would be for high-waisted or low-waisted with a facing. Now let's go ahead and smooth the edge with your curve ruler. Have a little bit of a curve right there. Let's flip the ruler the opposite direction. Use a pattern weight to hold things in place. And that looks good. Now we can go ahead and trim it. Trim that down to 1/4. Let's go ahead and see where the dart tips are. Let's go ahead and fold them. Crease the dart leg closest to the center front. Take it and place it on top of the next dart. Go ahead and tape that down. Let's repeat it with the second set of dart legs. And the dart pickup is going towards the center front. That looks good. Grab a piece of paper. Go ahead and draw a grain line. I'm using a scrap. And I'm going to go ahead and place this here with my center front. Let me fold that. I'm going to push this down here. Place this with my center front of my skirt. That looks good. Weight that in place. Trace off your waist. And feel free to use a pencil. I always use a pen so my students can see my pattern. Tracing. We don't need all of this up here. We do need to go ahead and true our lines if they're broken or not smooth. Over here at the hip, we can also make that a little bit sharper. Connecting, extending. Now we better draw in our seam allowance real quick up over here was 1/4 of an inch. And this is nothing. That's from a scrap from before. This here, 1/2 inch on the side seam. Remember, it still has that 1/4 inch. You can mark the whole top edge if you want to. I'm just showing myself here. I have 1/4. Then with our facing, you can make this an additional 2 inches, 2.5, 3. For me, that additional 2 inches down from the seam allowance is sufficient. Getting to the side seam. Now we'll take our curve ruler and we're going to connect and blend those lines together. Now you can go ahead and cut your facing out. I always cut out the lower edge first. Now our side seam. Now we'll cut out the waist. And I was going to unfold the skirt, but I thought I'd just leave it together so we could see how our facing looks right on top of our skirt. Looks really good. So let's go ahead and draw a grain line parallel with the one that we folded. Grain lines going, arrows going both directions. And this is our front skirt facing. This is cut 1 self fabric and cut 1 interfacing. You can write your name, the date, the size. If you had more information about the fabric, you could include that. If this was a lining fabric, we would write that. But right now I've made it self, so it's matching. And for interfacing, you can go ahead and underline it in red, and now you have your whole front facing, which helps you to finish the front edge of the skirt waist. And in the next video, you can check out how to make the back facing. And then here, if the tape doesn't come off, you can just go ahead and take your scissor and slit it. And there's our facing, which is really curved and has no darts. And it's going to sew into that front. And this is Annette Julie, and please check out my next videos and subscribe. Thanks.